Hello, I'm Channa Bankapur. I'm going to discuss my solution to the LeetCode problem summary ranges. It's today's problem in the October LeetCoding challenge. The problem is easy to solve. It has a sorted unique integer array. That means none of them are repeated and it is sorted, right? We have an example here, 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. So it is sorted and none of the elements are repeated. So let's understand the problem through examples. So we have an example here which is sorted unique integers, and what we need to find is the ranges in that. So ranges here is so we have a range starting from 0, and it increments by 1 every time. So we have 0 and then 1 and then up to 2. Because 3 is missing, the range kind of ends there, and immediately another range starts at 4 and that ends at 5 because 6 is missing, and then another range starts at 7 because it has only one element in that range. So this is all we should have it. So these are the set of ranges we need to return in the string format, right? Each range should be represented as a string with that arrow also. And if I take another example here, so we have 0 here. So the first range starts with 0, but 1 is missing. So the first range has only one element in that. And second range starts with 2 and then ends at 2, 3, 4. 4, it ends at 4. And third range starts at 6, and that's the only element we have there. And fourth range starts at 8 and then ends at 9, right? So this is the expected output, right? So my approach, as in it's a very simple problem. There's probably only one way to solve. We start a range with an element, and range could start with something like like a begin here, right? And it could end with maybe like it could be a non-inclusive end. So that way, end minus begin is going to be the size of the range. So I always start with a range with a begin, and if begin is not end of the array, so we have a range having at least one element. And then I'm going to check whether starting with the end, I see whether the element at end and end minus one are just incrementing by one. If not, the range ends there, right? That's how I'm going to get a range, and then I'll again go through the next possible range, right? So that's the idea here, and I think we can directly go to code and try to understand how does it work, right? So here, okay, n is the size of the vector, and the result is going to be a vector of strings. So the first range or begins with 0. So this is how my range is. So it starts with begin and then ends with say end minus 1. End is basically a terminal index. So as long as begin is within the array, that means we have a range having at least one element, and end is going to be one more than that, and end minus begin is going to be the size of that range. So as long as end is still within the array, and uh, uh, end is just one more than the previous element, n minus 1, in that case I'm going to keep incrementing, extending the range. So when I figure out the range has only one element, so we need to format it in a different way. We just have to basically create a string out of that number at the beginning, right? So the begin of the range is going to be that. Otherwise, we have a range which has more than one elements. In that case, this is the format they're expecting. Begin with this kind of arrow, and then the end element. So end element is at actually n minus 1. So I'm going to make a string out of it and then push it into the result, right? So when I'm done with one range, so because end is already at the beyond the range, so that is going to be the beginning of the next range, all right? Unless end is already at n, right? In that case, anyway, we'll come out of the while loop. So that's all we need to do here, and it's actually a very simple thing to do. So let me submit it once again and see. Yeah, it works, and it should work in linear time because look at this here. Um, every time in these while loops, again, end keeps incrementing it. Begin started with 0, and then end is just one more than begin, and we keep incrementing end. And here, this is constant time operation, and here so again, begin starts with the end itself. So we don't, this while loop is not gone wasted. Begin kind of, starts with that end, whatever we incremented. And that's why the whole thing runs in linear time. All right. So that's how I think this should work really fast, right? So let me know if there is any other way of solving this one. I'll be surprised. Otherwise, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thanks for watching and keep coding every day.